Good
Bam!
morning. Hey, good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How you doing, man?
Didn't mean to wake you up. Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. This morning, we're going to go over numbers again and the new housing market, which is a normal market.
It's a
That's
normal
what it
market.
is.
Is the new norm the old norm?
The new norm is the old norm. So let's get ready. We are. We're the Orlando Real Estate Buzz. I'm Brendan Rendo with the Homes in Orlando team at Next Home Neighborhood Realty. And of course, joined again with Joseph Dionne of Appli Home Loans. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Beautiful
I'm in a
day out
mess. I'm
there.
in like my studio area, and we're like redoing it all. So it's all everything's moved around and all over the place. But yeah.
You mean kind of like mine? I was going to shift it around this weekend, and I'm just like, nah, I'm too tired.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. The info's important, not how messy my my back desk is here. It's not too bad. It's not.
It's
Too bad.
pretty clean.
Wife comes in and straightens it up for me. So, anyways, new week, new numbers, and we are continuing to follow a trend, which is home sales are down. Price reductions are up. Inventory continuing to go up. It was a little stagnant last week, but I took a nice jump this week, almost 200 units. And we've got a lot of people sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things we saw is after the Fed came out, the mortgage market took a really nice dive down to roughly, what was it, about 5%? And then the past 2 days, you got hit again.
Yeah,
we're back up to like 5.5.
Yeah, just like that. And the funny part is it's all just off of comments. Like there's no there's nothing really happening, in the sense of like grandiose data that's coming out. It's just kind of like anytime the Fed talks, we can either get a positive reaction or we're getting a stupid negative reaction. It's knee jerk both ways.
Yep. And past couple days was total knee jerk the wrong way. Wrong way. Go through what Powell said. I think it was it yesterday or the day before that made everybody so happy.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny is we just had such a simple commentary that kind of came out, and what was basically said was, hey, a lot of market makers, a lot of bonds, a lot of pricing action, they're expecting to see rates go down in 2023, but they're probably factoring in too aggressively. That was the extent of everything. But it was kind of like, what does that mean? So all the bond makers like, what does that mean? We got to change everything, which means that they were being aggressive with their pricing. There's no indication that we're not going to see rates go down. Like I think there is a little bit of expectation, and even in the commentary that occurred, they were speaking about that. But I think what was kind of being said was simply, hey, like it's going to happen, but it might not happen as quickly as everybody thinks.
Yeah.
And that was, we saw rates worsen probably on Tuesday. I want to say 0.25% on Tuesday alone.
Yep. And I think Wednesday followed up with another quarter. But you look at the economic data, and I can understand why bond market people have been so aggressive. Is debt for consumers has shot through the roof. We get up to like $16 trillion of credit card debt now. The savings has basically dwindled away. This inflation that we're having, it's forcing a lot of people to dip into their savings, and that's always nerve-wracking. And then you look at delinquency numbers and rentals, and nationwide, you're normally about a 3%. We've jumped to about a 13% delinquency rate in rentals. the rent's just too damn high. I mean, that guy has a right. It's just too damn high.
Yeah.
And then you are starting to see, what's the worst thing you can see in a recession? You're starting to see some layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the mortgage industry or the housing industry anymore.
Yeah.
You're seeing others. I think Ford laid off like 8,000 employees last week.
Yep.
But I do understand that some of that has to do with retooling, updating for the new car years and stuff like that. But they're not planning on bringing them all back.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big thing we kind of have to watch over the next couple months is, how does that employment number stay overall? But when you look at that, you say, okay, we're definitely in a recession. Normally in a recession, the Fed's going to lower rates. My gut was they probably push to like 2.25, and that was going to be about the highest they could get. And because one is national debts, how do you pay that? You get to a point where we can't pay our debt, and there goes our whole country in a nutshell. So you look at that and it's like, yeah, they kind of can't push it too much more.
Yeah.
But and that 0.75 last week kind of said the same thing to me is, okay, they weren't as aggressive as we all thought they were going to be. And they've got what? They got 2 more meetings this year, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So I think I'm actually going to say they may go another 0.5 point, and that's it. I think they stop.
I think where my mind kind of was leaning toward is I see them maybe going 0.5 point at the next, and then maybe 1/4 at most on the last one. But I feel like I already feel like there's a little bit of shift of how aggressive they're going to be. But with that, conversely, and that's the hard part is like, we always joke, we're like, being the Fed, it's never a win-win scenario for them. It's like, no matter what they do, they're going to be criticized in some way, but they have the responsibility of trying to help with all these, the inflation and this and all that. Like they're trying to help in all these areas and create policy that doesn't completely shift us from one area to the other. But the reality is they've got to continue to do something, and they're working to be creative in how they handle that. The part that I think is really funny is really, and you don't really see the Fed saying this too much, but you see kind of mass media saying this is we're not in a recession. Like I've been completely shocked at how much media has kind of taken this proponent of like, let's change the definition of what a recession is all of a sudden. We're not.
I mean, we're changing the definition of everything these days. It's like,
and I think that's the hard part is it puts, these policymakers in tough positions because if everybody's saying we're not, and they try to take policy and put policy to say, hey, like, no, we are, like, we need to shift out of this. Now the narrative is more so of like, wait, did they cause this? And I think there's a lot of factors that build into this, and it wasn't the policy making that played every part of this. It does have an impact. But, I think it creates this kind of lose-lose where now mass media is going to have a bigger impact on what the Feds do because of how they're dictating or redefining what is or isn't a recession.
Yeah. And what is it? A recession is when your friend loses their job, and a depression is when you lose yours. That old adage.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of that one, but
you hadn't heard that one? Oh yeah.
No,
that's an old one.
But you know what? Like that takes a big perspective right there.
So it's just something you have to watch. And I think one of the hardest things that I know, I'm sure you have the same conversation with your clients that I have with mine, which is, the Fed just jumped rates. The mortgage rates are going to go through the roof. It's like, no, hold on. No, that's not necessarily true, and it wasn't true last week. And you have to explain to them that no, the Fed really doesn't push the mortgage rates too much. Watch the 10-year T. 10-year T going up and down. That will do it. And that's one of the things you have. A lot of people, you have to talk them back. Is like, well, I'm just worried about rates. I'm like, well, here, watch this, and you can see we've been in a range. So you just want to catch it on the dip. I know one of the advantages you have, being a broker over a straight lender, is when you see these kinds of dips, you've got the ability to move loans a little bit very easily compared to what a straight up lender can do, who's got it, they've got their line and that's it.
Yeah. And it really plays a big part, because we have a lot of investors that, they may, and we always call it like buy the market. They'll get more aggressive on pricing because they want to. And it's like, we can shift. If you're a direct retail shop or something like that, you only have your product. Like your bank is your bank. That's it. And if they buy the market, great. Like they bought the market for a little bit, you're loving life, but then it shifts and they're no longer capable because they were at a loss on those loans just to drive deals into the pipeline. And then you may not see rates be super competitive for the remainder of the year. You may have had 1 month or 2 months. Now for us, it's like we have, investors that compete with each other. It's like, all right, well, now this person dropped their rates. So, and then you watch like 5 others start dropping their rates because they're all trying to compete with each other. And then this investor picks their rate up, but somebody else drops their rate again. So we're able to shift where we send our loans for our consumers, because, our goal is to get them the best rate, best experience. Like we'll control the experience and we'll help find them the best rate.
Yep. Which is, I love, because you do, like we've seen the past week, you get those large shifts. And you hope your client isn't at that, hitting that peak at that 5.5. Because I imagine in the next couple of days we'll probably see it dip maybe a quarter of a point again. So, and you want them to be able to take advantage of that dip. Because quarter point's a quarter point. Long haul, it's a lot of money.
It adds up.
And I think the other thing we've been talking about is still, because values are still high, and we're going to go into the numbers here in a minute, and you're starting to see the discounts increase on the homes, is changing the way you negotiate on a home and taking advantage of the buy downs. If I can get my client, say 2%, to do a buy down, what might that decrease their rate by roughly? Just,
I mean, when we do we get a lot is, let's say you have 2% in seller credits, we could do like a full buy down, of the rate, and that may get you, a 0.5% lower in rate potentially. It could be that, and it really depends on the loan product, the scenario, where everything is, but it could be pretty significant. It might be even a little bit more with 2%. Now, conversely, we could look at, and we've seen a lot of people talk about like that 2-1 buy down, where it's like you go 2% lower for year 1, then 1% lower for year 2, and then you're back to the par rate or whatnot in year 3. That's a creative solution. You're using seller, if you use seller credits to do that, it really works. And that's really kind of what that's doing, is kind of like gambling on the market of saying, hey, like rates are going to considerably drop, in a year or 2. And we think that doing this 2-1 buy down makes sense because we're going to be able to refinance in 2 years. My recommendation typically is I would lean more to, let's do the permanent buy down. Because what if rates drop and they only drop, they don't drop a massive amount. They drop a little bit, but you've already got it. Now you're not paying more costs to do a refinance, which is wiping out part of that savings, if the market, so that's where it kind of really shifts, and it's all about risk adversity. I like to take the stance of, you've got a fixed rate, you're comfortable with that payment. You're not going to have to stress about that payment, and it's going to be the same. So that's kind of the recommendation and route I go, but I give both scenarios to everybody.
I mean, when you look at, if you plan on being in that house, 10 years, and you look at that 0.5 point savings over the 10 years, that's a big chunk of change. That if you look at that compared to, okay, I'm going to ask for a $8,000 price reduction, you're more likely going to make have a heck of a lot more savings than with that half a point than you are just getting straight up $8,000 price reduction.
Yeah.
So, that's something I'm trying to educate my clients on a regular basis. Is, hey, let's, it's one of those. It's look at every scenario and figure out what's the best one. Don't just give one scenario for people.
Yeah.
Let's hop into some numbers and let's see how the market is looking. So this week, I got to blow this up because I'm old and I can't see anymore. So this week we saw a continuation of the decline of the discounts. So when we get here and you look at the original to final list price, we jumped to an average of $16,000 discount. And I think the big one is right here, the original list to sales price. We're down to below 96% of the original list price.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So on a $500,000 home, you're getting down, you're looking at almost $20,000 savings over the original list price. And I think that's a perfect example where, okay, if I can get a little discount and get 2% to buy down my rate, you've done a good deal. You've really done a good deal. And then let's hop back into our charts. See, our sales price and median price went up just a hair. It was about $1,000 in the median price.
Yeah.
So you see, from the peaks, we're back down. We're staying consistent. Pretty much on the median value. And then our sales did go up a little bit, but we're still back behind where we've been for the past year and a half, 2 years, which is, holding at that 600 and above. So there's less buyers out on the market. People are taking longer to make a decision. They don't feel the urgency that they've had in the past years.
Yeah.
I was looking at Zillow's numbers. I was looking at Redfin's numbers of traffic. Traffic across all the major portals is down anywhere from 25 to 35%. That's a big drop.
Yeah.
So it just tells you, everything we've been saying for the past several weeks is, hey, there's less buyers, there's more opportunities. Take your time, do it right.
Yep.
And then this is what I've been expecting is we are, since the end of June, we are really starting to see the days on market go up. Since the end of June, which was our lowest, 18, we've jumped 6 days on market. It doesn't seem like a lot, but to a seller, that's an eternity these days.
Yeah.
That is an absolute eternity. And I think we're going to continue to see this jump up. And I would expect probably by October, November timeframe, we're going to see at least 30 days to 31 days.
Yeah.
On the market, which when you look historically in
that's
the Orlando
normal.
area, that's normal. That's totally normal. So that's where we're working again with the sellers, setting back that level of expectation. That, hey, and they're starting to get it because they're seeing a lot of the news articles out there. That, hey, there's less buyers. The market's really slowing down. I listen to a bunch of people on YouTube, and sometimes their thumbnails are hilarious. Because they got the bomb going off which you sent me the other day. Thank you. They got the bomb going off in the back. It's like, no, we're doing we're holding. We're holding. And then that one, but this one, we're seeing off market, people taking things off the market has jumped. Nearly, what's that, about 25% from the low of 50. And we're seeing the withdrawals up again as well.
Yeah.
Because the houses aren't selling as quickly.
Yeah.
So, we're back into a consistency. I apologize. I just want to go back to this one. And then, of course, going back into the inventory numbers.
Yep.
we are up 147% since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
We've got almost 5,000 homes in inventory.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for the buyers. The
option.
Seller, yeah, options. I looked at one yesterday with a client, and beautiful home, well maintained, really taken care of, but she just didn't want to go the price that they were offering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been on the market now. Today will be 14 days. And I'm looking at her, well, we can do one or two things. We can go in, put in an offer, but be aggressive. Because more than likely, you get that feeling, more than likely they're probably going to come with a price reduction within the next, I'd say probably week.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you that price reduction is going to be at least, $25,000, $30,000, because all the price reductions we're seeing right now are huge.
Mm-hmm.
You got a $600,000 house and you're seeing a $30,000 price reduction. $40,000 price reductions.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows me people are like, oh, we're nervous.
Yeah.
And we got to do something to get this thing sold.
Yep, absolutely.
So, but that's where those numbers. And I did this because we did this last week, and I wanted to show this again. This is 2 weeks ago. Original to final list price, we're about 6,300.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, we were at 7,300. This week, 16,000.
Yeah. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves in that situation.
Yep. It shows you how we're shifting, and it's shifting pretty consistently and pretty heavy to the buyer overall.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then another article I was reading this week. We all know how, earlier this year it was multiple offers.
Yeah.
Orlando in July dropped about 10% in the number of homes in multiple offers. They said it was about 47%. I felt that was a little high, but
okay.
But we aren't seeing those multiple offer situations anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I think is important. People have to realize is, like we've been saying, Orlando is a much steadier market than a lot of other areas in the country.
Mm-hmm.
These are the declines in multiple offers in other parts of the country.
Yeah.
Tampa is number one. Tampa saw a 25% reduction in multiple offers. That's a huge drop. That's a lot of people pulling out of the market.
Yeah, that's a lot of elimination of a lot of competition right there.
A lot of it. Then, these are the other hottest markets in the nation. Nashville, down 21. Las Vegas, down 20. They've got no water. Miami, which quite honestly has been the hottest market in the nation, for the past 2.5 years. They're down 90% on multiple offer situations.
Mm-hmm. So
we've taken a dip, but we're still, again, Orlando's a much more consistent. I think part of that is that we're more of a family-oriented situation, environment than other environments. But it's a good feeling to see it go that way. That we're not taking as big a hit as a lot of these other areas are. Right now.
Yeah, I think you're right in that. And the ones, like I noticed, like you mentioned Tampa and you saw Miami, these were some of the areas when we were booming, and it was just going absolutely nuts. I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's nuts here. And then I talked to friends in the Tampa market and I was like, oh, wait, what's going on over there? Some of the things happening in Tampa were significantly wider margins, offers, absolutely stupid offers over and above asking and get it. And now you're seeing that back off and you're seeing it get consistent. You're seeing multiple offers because it's like, once the market cools off, the ones that had the biggest rocket up are going to be the ones that fall down the fastest back to norm. And I think we had a very fast incline. We were one of the hottest, but we still were always kind of steady in how we saw that incline. We didn't just go from not a hot market to crazy, stupid hot market overnight. we were, hey, we're a hot market. Now we're a little bit more sexier. Like now we're really sexy. Now we're, now we're Aquaman sexy, like
Joe, you're always sexy, Joe,
and now it's like, now we're just, we're going back to dad bod.
Yep.
But
exactly.
I think we're going to be really good. I think we're going to see kind of this, like you said, like we're seeing this new norm, and the new norm is really the old norm, and the old norm wasn't a bad norm.
No,
it was a balanced
it's really back to that pre-pandemic feel, a consistency, a solid consistency.
Yep.
And it's a nice feeling because you get up in the morning, you do your work, do your calls, follow up with people, and you're going to stay consistent.
Yeah.
It was actually it was kind of nice. I had phenomenal, June and July. I was able to okay, I got to catch my breath. I've been running for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not as young as I used to be. And it was nice to be able to okay, I need to take a breath. Let me get some stuff straightened up and get ready for the second half of the year. And it's and I've got clients who are okay. Yeah, the markets seem to be settling down a little bit. Let's start looking again. So, well, those are our numbers for the week. Thank you again. Any questions? Always feel free to reach out to Joe and I. That's what we're here for, is to help make this whole home buying purchase as easy as we can for you. If you're watching on Facebook, please hit the thumbs up, and same thing on YouTube. Thank you all so much. Joe, take care. Have a fantastic rest of your week. And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.